Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, on January 8, 2014, an extraordinary thing happened in Vermont. Our governor, Peter Shumlin, giving a State of the State address, devoted its entirety to the opioid epidemic in Vermont. And I remember how stunned people were that a governor would take such a difficult topic and spend his entire address on it. And I remember the reaction of many of my colleagues here who said, "Peter, isn't that dangerous? You're talking about something that's not great for the reputation of the state." What, in fact, was great for the reputation of the state was that our governor and our leaders acknowledged the existence of a problem that was creating heartbreak and heartache in all of our communities. And a problem acknowledged is the first step in dealing with a problem to be solved. Since then, Vermont has been extraordinary in its efforts to attack this problem. Communities like Rutland, like St. Albans, like Barre and Burlington have coordinated with police force, with our medical providers, to provide a treatment-based approach to helping folks who have an addiction to opioids, many of them coming by it as a result of prescriptions for legitimate medical needs. We had in Rutland the community coming together to create Project Vision, which has faith-based groups, the police, the medical community, doing everything it can to basically give individual attention to folks who are trying to help themselves get off of opiates. The problem, it continues to be severe, but what we have is a community that's fully engaged in it, including our state legislature, which provided funds for treatment, a treatment-based approach to helping people with a hub-and-spoke system that's really working well. Folks who are getting prescriptions, or folks who have a problem and an addiction and are getting access to methadone or other prescribed products, take that in a hub so it's supervised, or they're able then to go to work. So this has been a situation in Vermont where, as a result of the governor's focus on the problem, we've had community engagement to stem the tide of this issue. It's been working, but challenges remain because we don't have enough treatment funds. This legislation is an important acknowledgement on the part of Congress that we're getting it, that across this country we're all being affected by the challenges that our communities face. And I thank the sponsors of this legislation, Mr. Pallone, too, and Mr. Upton for their leadership. My hope, by the way, is that we get the message, too, in Congress that we've got to send some funds back to our communities that are struggling with these programs. We can't micromanage the treatment here. It's up to the courageous people in our communities to do it. And some of the tax that they sent to us, we've got to send back to them. It's why I, among others, am supporting an emergency appropriation of $600 million. That would help quite a bit. The amendment that I have on this bill, which establishes an interagency task force to review, modify, and update the best practices for pain management, would ask that we also review developing non-opioid forms of pain relief. You know, if opioids diminish pain, but they create misery, let's find another way to do it and help our folks who need pain relief to get it. The second thing, it would examine existing non-opioid alternatives that could be better utilized. So this is tremendous that there has been such a bipartisan coming together to sponsor practical steps that we can take. And I see us in Congress as essentially acknowledging what Governor Shumlin identified as a real problem for us, and we're hearing about in our communities. But I hope we're ready to take some next steps and actually focus on getting resources back to our communities that are doing the very, very challenging work at the local level where it needs to be done to help folks relieve themselves from the addiction of opioids. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And